In 1955, the South Vietnamese and the United States fought in a grueling and costly conflict against the North Vietnamese and the Viet Cong. The North Vietnamese government and the Viet Cong were fighting to reunify Vietnam. The United States government viewed its involvement in the war as a way to prevent a communist takeover of South Vietnam. The Vietnam War was a long war, lasting 20 years and resulting in over 58,000 American casualties. While there are many heroes who emerged from this time, one in particular is very special to me. My grandfather, Richard Bronigan, was a Green Beret who served in Vietnam, and in honor of Veterans Day, I am proud to introduce him to you. Hi, I'm Holden Smith, and it is a great privilege to spend and share time with a person that I not only love, but also honor, my grandpa, Rich Brodigan. So let's go ahead and get started, Pep. Why did you enlist in the military, and what was your parents' reaction to that?
Well, I enlisted in the military when I was approximately 20 years old, and I was from West Virginia. At the time, I was in California, and I had gone to school for a year in Chicago and ended up in California. And after working a few odd jobs, one of them being a bus boy at the original Disneyland Hotel in Anaheim, I finally decided that I needed to do something, so I enlisted in the Army. And as far as my parents' response, they were back in West Virginia, and I did this myself, and I wrote them a letter after I joined and told them that I was in the Army and going to basic training. That was, about all my parents knew about it, to be honest.
So, Pap, I know that you are a Green Beret, which is a Special Forces unit. So why don't you go ahead and tell us what year you got to Vietnam and what role you played in the war?
Okay. I went to Vietnam in August of 1965 and came home a year later. And while I was in Vietnam, my job, I was a medic. I was a Special Forces medic.
So, Pat, can you share an experience with us when you were in Vietnam in harm's way?
Well, I spent time in areas with that had landmines and, believe it or not, booby traps left over from the French Indochina War that preceded the Vietnam War. And I think that instilled a fear of maybe stepping on what we called a toe popper that would blow your foot off, or falling into one of these old punji pits that were just full of rancid water and old bamboo sticks and so forth. I think that was a constant fear with all of us, as well as, getting shot at. So that was a constant fear.
Pat, what's your advice to young people living in America today?
Just remember that freedom is not free. And unfortunately, as I just said a few moments ago, war solves nothing. But without a strong military, we would not have the freedoms we have today. And that young men and women today need to realize that they may be called to serve their country, and to always keep that in the back of their mind, that service to the country could become a necessity for all young people.
As a little boy, I always loved playing Army with my grandfather's helmets and gear from the military. But as I've gotten older, I've realized the significance of his time in the service and in the Vietnam War. He has shared many interesting and intense stories of war with me, ones that make me proud not only of the amazing grandfather that he is, but also of the American hero he will always be. Happy Veterans Day to all of our veterans, and thank you for fighting for the freedom I enjoy today.